Hi, and welcome to another video on object-oriented programming in C#. With me, Marinas Toman. Okay, so in this video we're going to cover Git and GitHub. Git is a version control system and it tracks changes in any set of computer files. So it's usually used for coordinating work among programmers who are collaborating on the same source code during software development. So we're going to be looking at an implementation of Git, which is GitHub. So this is a free platform, cloud-based service for software development and version control using Git. So it allows developers to store and manage their code. You can store, you can see here I have, this is a repo on GitHub, and we can basically store our source code files in this remote repository. So other developers then can, access it even when we're not working together in the same place. So GitHub is something that most developers around the world use, and it's something that you're going to see in industry. So it's good to get used to it now, early on, and it also is good just for saving your work, remotely. So if you don't have a GitHub account, I advise you to sign up to GitHub, and you should sign up with your university email address. So that means that you'll be eligible to get this student developer pack. So you should sign up for that as well. And there's loads of benefits for that, as you can see here. But the one that we really care about is this. So you get a GitHub Pro account while you're a student. So the whole time that your student ID is active, or the whole time that your student email address is active, you will be able to avail of GitHub Pro. So one of the benefits of that is that we can have unlimited private repositories. So when we're creating these repositories here in GitHub, we can keep them private. As this one says here, it's just test one that I have for Com326, and I've made it private. So you can make your repos public as well, so you can make your code public, but for now we're just going to be using private repos, and unfortunately you only get a couple of them for free. So if you want unlimited private repos, you need GitHub Pro. So that's why you should sign up for the GitHub developer pack. I'll put the link down in the description, the video description. So there's loads of stuff here that you can get, Visual Studio Dev Essentials, you can get free developer tools and stuff and training as well from Microsoft. Also Azure training. So yeah, there's loads of stuff. You can see how long, this list goes down for. So you should definitely have a look through it, because there's some good stuff, like some free cloud storage and things like that, and loads of different developer tools. Okay, so what we're really going to look at today is you need to be able to connect your IDE with GitHub. So basically what we want to do is we want to connect Visual Studio with this GitHub account here. Okay, so we'll just open a previous solution. Okay, so you can see here I already have it connected, but once Visual Studio loads up, you can just go up to your account and go to account settings. So you can see I already have GitHub connected here, but if you don't, just go to account settings, and then in here, like I say, I've already got mine connected, but you'll see this add button here. So you can add your GitHub account and basically just log in from here, and once you do, then it'll be connected like so. And once it's connected to Visual Studio, we'll see some things that will change in the IDE. So in the menu up here, you'll get this new Git button, and this will allow you to do a lot of different things here. Clone repository, create a repository, even, you know, create local repositories. So you will see that some of there'll be a new tab as well beside the Solution Explorer, and it's just for your changes, your Git changes, and for connecting, cloning repositories and creating repositories. So basically just connecting to GitHub. So this is basically going to be the repository for the weekly solutions for all of our practicals. So it'll be a good idea, you know, for you to get connected to this, clone this repository, and then you'll be able to, you know, get access to the weekly solutions then. So to clone, there's a couple of different options. You can just go, you know, straight to the repository in the browser and click this button here. And what you could do is you could copy this link and you could clone it, you know, with some git commands. Or you could open Visual Studio itself, you know, once you have your account connected, this option will come up. Or you can just download, you know, the files into a zip folder and just download them directly and then open them from your computer. But there's another option here. So what I like to do, instead of messing around with git commands and things like that, what I like to do is just get this graphical user interface, or a GUI, just for interacting with GitHub for us. So GitHub themselves have released this GitHub Desktop, and what it is just basically, like I said, it's a GUI, and it helps us, you know, so we don't have to start typing out git commands, big long git commands. We can just basically hide all of them commands behind buttons. So you can come here and get GitHub Desktop, and once you download it, it'll ask you to sign in, you know, so you connect basically the same way that we done it there with Visual Studio, but you can just log into your GitHub account, and as you can see, I'm already logged in, and this is my list of repositories here. So you know, this repository is listed here, so com326. So what you could do is, if you wanted to clone someone else's repository, you know, if it wasn't one of your own, you click this and then it would just ask you for a link, and this is the link that you would provide. So you just copy that, you know, to clipboard and then give that link. But once you download GitHub Desktop, GitHub recognizes that, so it also gives you this option then, once you have that downloaded and connected to your account, you can just open repositories straight in GitHub Desktop. So like I say, I like it because it saves you having to type out all of these commands in the command line and everything. You know, anywhere that you can use a GUI that just, you know, does it easier to click up a button, is always better. So just for now, just with GitHub Desktop, we'll just clone this repository here. So because it's me that owns it, it's easier, it's just already in the list. But if I hit clone, it's going to ask me anyway, you know, where is this? Do you have a URL or a GitHub username and repository? So that would be, you know, this is the same link that is shown here. So if you wanted to get someone else's repository, that's where you put the link in, and then you just would have, so I have a local directory called GitHub, and it's going to create this new directory now called com326, just named after the same as the repo. So you just make sure where your local path is, where it's cloning the repository to, and then that's it, just hit clone. So now we have a whole copy of this repository now, and any changes that we make, you know, will be listed here. And we can select each file individually, or we could select a batch of files. And this would be our commit message. So this is required for every commit that we make. So every change, you know, needs to be committed, and then you would usually put a description in, you know, just for yourself, or especially when you're working with a group or a team. If you would describe what the main changes were that you made. and then you would hit commit, and basically then this would commit to the your local repository on your desktop, and this button up here then would change, so it would basically say, okay, now you can push, you've got changes that you can push up to the remote repository, and this is the current branch that you're on, and this is the current remote repository. This is the local, but this is, you know, what is synced with the remote one. So this is your remote repository here. So if let's say you did some local changes, that would change to push. But let's say you were working on a repository and someone else, so let's say for example, you know, you're cloned to this, and I put a new set of solutions up that week. What you're going to see up here is a pull option. So that's basically saying that you're out of sync now with the remote repository, so you need to pull down the changes to sync up your local repository with the remote one. And you see that, you know, whenever anybody else is working on, if you're working on the same code or in the same repository, there's times when you're going to need to pull down the changes. Okay, so that's connecting Visual Studio and GitHub Desktop to GitHub, but GitHub Desktop isn't out too long, you know, and it's still kind of there's still, as you can see, there's beta, you know, versions as well, so they're still kind of testing things. There's this other option called GitKraken, so it's basically the same thing. It's a GUI for interacting with GitHub, and GitKraken is more, so what we really care about this semester is just the basic Git productivity features. So GitHub Desktop's good enough for that. But if you were to use, you know, GitHub a lot more often, and you wanted to visualize, you know, if you're more bigger projects and a bigger team, and you needed to maybe visualize branches and timelines and things like that, it might be a better option to use GitKraken, because it's basically more interactive, and you know, you can get a lot more information out of it. So it's more popular when used in industry. But for the purposes of this semester, we're just going to use, you know, a simple graphical user interface, as long as you know, understand how to use one or the other, whatever you're comfortable with. So there's plenty of videos on GitKraken and GitHub Desktop on YouTube. I'll share some links and some videos as well. Okay, so that's everything for the video. Thanks for watching.